Steve Albrecht. I live in Olympia. I've been a medal rover. This is my 4th season. And I'm just going to ask us all to introduce ourselves. And, you know, those fun things you do when you introduce yourself and you kind of establish relationships, because this isn't going to be a sit here and listen to me lecture kind of thing.
Okay.
So I want to hear about the first national park you visited and what made it special. So for me, again, I grew up in Memphis, Tennessee. The first national park I visited was Great Smoky Mountain National Park, and what made it really special was like really big mountains, not, you know, cotton and soybean fields, big trees, waterfalls, and bears. Bears. So yeah, and I've loved the national parks ever since. So anyway, yeah.
My name is Michelle, and potentially this may have been the first national park, but I do have a picture of Mount Rushmore, where my grandpa and grandma used to live. But he used to come out here every year to do the ice caves. And what I liked most about that was being outdoors, because I'm very much an outdoors person. And it was special to come up here and see the ice caves.
So you made it to the ice caves.
I did.
Wow,
I did.
that is great.
Mhm.
And I'm Phil Majeski, and cannot recall my first national park because being from Michigan, my folks would take us with a Cox camper across the country, and I was the youngest of 5 boys, so I was very young, and we hit almost everything out this way.
Nice.
So I have pictures. Sick from the altitude with a headache.
That made it special.
That was
didn't it?
really special.
Yeah.
Yeah.
All right.
Hi, yeah, and I'll go over here. My name is Jennifer Rand, and we talked a bit. So volunteer coordinator. It's the same way. I grew up in Ohio, and we did a lot of state parks and everything like that. I think the first one was probably Mammoth Cave National Park in Kentucky. Go down there, and it was also the first one I worked at. I think because and I think that's why, because I just said, wow, this place is really neat. I want, you know, it was also a cave, which was, I thought was cool, but yeah, I would say Mammoth Cave was the first one.
Oh, nice.
Yeah.
Nice. So what we're going to do today is we're going to talk about Leave No Trace. We're going to learn a little bit about the Leave No Trace organization. We're going to learn about the 7 principles of Leave No Trace. And then we're going to learn about the technique called the authority of the resource, which is a way to share that knowledge and educate and capitalize on teachable moments for using Leave No Trace. So do any of you have any kind of training experience with Leave No Trace?
No.
When I worked at Acadia, we did.
Yeah.
We had a little, I think it was during staff training. We had one of the trail crew people was an instructor, and we had a Leave No Trace session. Mm-hmm.
Okay. Well, what really got me interested was, you know, Yakima Park Overlook at sunrise by Frozen Lake.
Oh, no, I haven't, but yeah.
So as you're coming back along this Sourdough Ridge Trail, the trail makes a sharp left-hand turn as you're going down past the outlet and the dam for Frozen Lake, and right there is the Yakima Park Overlook. It's also a very, very common place to see toilet paper blossoms. And it was toilet paper blossoms at the Yakima Park Overlook that really sort of drove me to think about what can we do to help visitors minimize their impact. And I just have gone down this pathway with Leave No Trace and find it interesting and hopefully helpful. So I want to start with a video that'll talk a little bit. We'll do a few videos today, and this is just kind of background on the Leave No Trace organization.
There's no substitute for nature. But the nature we love is at risk. So it's time to reimagine how we outdoors. We are Leave No Trace. We empower people to be the solution to conservation.
just a brief idea that the concept is it takes all of us. We're all inclusive. There's kayakers and fly fishers. But Leave No Trace wants to acknowledge that these are our common shared public lands where all of us want to be able to recreate in a way that minimizes impact. And so in the 70s and 80s, outdoor recreation just became a thing. I mean, y'all are my contemporaries, and you understand about that. And I mean, did you ever visit the ice caves?
I know.
Oh, well, a couple of us have. Yeah, but and I think they closed them sometime in the 80s. The National Park Service, the Forest Service, and other outdoor recreational agencies were trying to spread messages about minimizing impact and preserving the outdoors, and came together to realizing that a consistent message that was the same from all these various agencies would have better impact versus somebody saying pack it in, pack it out, and somebody else saying this, that, or the other thing. So in 1994, a partnership with the National Park Service, the U.S. Forest Service, Bureau of Land Management, Fish and Wildlife Service, eventually the Army Corps of Engineers, which does a lot of land management, and the National Association of State Parks, all came together to form the Leave No Trace organization. The National Outdoor Leadership School was one of their initial consultants and really helped them develop their teaching style and what they do. And over the years, since '94, it's expanded. There's now lots of different nonprofits that are part of the Leave No Trace organization. There are corporate groups like Rainier Mountaineering is a sponsor, REI is a sponsor, Subaru is a sponsor of the Leave No Trace organization. And what the organization does primarily is training and education, research, and projects. And the mission of the Leave No Trace organization, I'm going to read here, is using the power of science, education, and stewardship. Leave No Trace is on a mission to ensure a sustainable future for the outdoors and the planet. No matter where or why you get outside, it's yours to protect, and it's your nature. And so I personally found that kind of inspiring, and that philosophy and mission jives with what I look for when I recreate in the outdoors. See if you can figure out where this video was shot.
As people are getting outside in record numbers, the need to put Leave No Trace skills and ethics into action to minimize our collective impact is more important than ever. To take care of the natural world and practice Leave No Trace, here's what you need to know.
Know before you go. Look up the areas you plan to visit online or contact the local visitor center. Knowing things such as road conditions, weather, and available facilities is important. Be sure to bring all basic foods, extra water, and a bag to take trash home with you. Packing extra items such as sunscreen, extra clothing layers, a basic first aid kit, rain gear, and a map is always a safe bet.
Let's talk trash. Pack it in, pack it out. Food scraps attract and harm wildlife, which in turn can put people at risk. Pick up all your trash and pack it out, or dispose of it in a trash can. Natural items like orange and banana peels, apple cores, and nutshells can take years to decompose, so pack those out too.
Don't be a party pooper. Pet waste is a health hazard for both people and animals. Pet waste can lead to the rise of invasive species and can spread diseases which harms water, plants, and wildlife that call this place home. Pack out your pet waste. Need to go, but bathrooms are closed? First, walk at least 70 steps away from trails, water, and people. If you have to poop, either dig a cat hole 6 to 8 inches deep, dispose of your waste in the hole, cover it, and pack out your toilet paper. Or use a wag bag, a disposable bag to poop in, found in most outdoor stores, so you can pack out your waste. Better together. We all share the outdoors. Everyone may have different ideas and expectations about what it means to be outside, but we all must be respectful of others we encounter. Let's all do our part to make the outdoors safe, inclusive, and welcoming to everyone. A friendly smile at people you encounter can go a long way.
I'm gonna say Green Lake or Alki.
Yeah, well, Seattle,
Yeah.
Yeah.
Yeah, very good. Very good. Okay, so the Leave No Trace organization has formulated.
You're watching
Whoops.
C-SPAN on a
Sorry.
Saturday night. Wow. We now return to coverage of the Facebook hearings in Congress.
Sorry. Well, we can all use a laugh. So they have come up with 7 principles. So there are the 7 principles of Leave No Trace, and they're very simple, and we're going to learn them.
Okay.
The Leave No Trace, Bigfoot is their mascot, and Bigfoot's been doing it for years. And here are your 7 principles. You might want to.
Thank you.
And we're going to stand up
All right.
because the brain absorbs better when it's not got its blood flow impeded by pressure on the buttocks.
I thought that was my brain.
Not yours. Not yours. So the 7 principles are: number 1, plan ahead and prepare. Number 2, hike and camp on durable surfaces. Number 3, dispose of waste properly. Number 4, leave what you find. Number 5, minimize campfire impacts. Number 6, respect wildlife. And number 7 is be kind to other visitors. Okay? And so we have some real simple hand motions
Nice.
that help us with that. So number 1, plan ahead and prepare. Use our brains. Use our brains. Okay? Number 1. Number 2, walk and camp. Put your tent on durable surfaces. So hike and camp on durable surfaces. Number 2. Okay?
Nice.
Number 3, he talked about digging a cat hole. Here's my trowel. Number 3, trash your trash. Dispose of waste properly. Number 3. Okay? Number 4, leave what you find. So I'm taking a picture of it. Number 4, leave what you find.
Did you come up with these fan things?
I was taught them.
Okay.
Nice.
Yes. Okay. 2 and 2.
Yeah.
2 and 2. 4.
Nice.
Leave what you find. Okay. Number 5. There's my flames.
Oh,
Minimize
nice.
campfire impacts.
Got it.
Number 6. 3 and 3. My antlers.
and-
Respect wildlife. Okay. And number 7. 2 and 5. Peace.
Be kind to people.
Be kind to other visitors. Yeah.
Okay.
So those are our
Wow.
7 principles.
Nice.
Okay.
Yeah. So let's do them again. Number 1,
Plan ahead.
Plan
think
ahead.
and prepare.
Know where you're going.
Number 2,
Stay on the trail.
hike and camp on durable surfaces.
Hike and camp. Durable surfaces.
Number 3,
Trowel.
Trash or trash.
trash your trash. Number 4,
Leave.
Jennifer,
Yes, leave what you, leave what you find.
leave what
I
you
was
find.
fine.
Only take photos.
All right. Number 5, Phil.
5. Fires. Be mindful of fires. Be
Minimize your
Yeah.
campfire.
Minimize campfire impacts. Number 6,
yes.
Kind to the animal.
right? And Jennifer,
Wildlife.
number 7.
And number 7 is be kind to others.
There we go.
Nice.
Yay!
That's-
Okay.
That's
class
great.
is
That's
over.
a new one. I like that.
Class is over. No. So, those are the 7 principles of Leave No Trace and what all their education and research is built on. So, what's a principle? What's a principle?
Something to live by. Something that's.
We'll say a way of.
Are they rules?
Thought, putting a thought into actions, maybe? A principle?
Yeah.
Or a belief.
Yeah.
A belief system.
Yeah. Yeah. Guideline.
Guidelines.
To
rules.
me, that's how I think of it.
I couldn't think of a definition without using the word, so I was having
Yeah.
trouble.
Oxford Dictionary, okay, says principles are fundamental truth or propositions that serve as the foundation for a system of belief or behavior or for a chain of reasoning. So yeah, they sort of guide our beliefs, how we should act. Okay, which they can also be a rule or belief governing our behavior, or the fundamental source or basis for something, an essence. I like the essence. I like something that guides behavior. Yeah. So those are principles. Those are principles. Principles are a little different than ethics. The formal name for the organization is the Leave No Trace Center for Outdoor Ethics.
Yeah.
And so this is about ethics too. So what are ethics?
Ethics. What is right and wrong in our society?
Yeah. Yeah. Again, for me, I think about ethics is how do I behave when nobody's looking?
Yeah.
Integrity, yeah. True.
Yeah. Yeah. The moral principles that govern a person's behavior or the conducting of an activity. Yeah. So that's what we use these 7 principles for, as a way to sort of guide ourselves as we enjoy our shared public spaces, our outdoors. Yeah. And the goal of using these isn't to have zero impact. I mean, zero impact would mean no trails, no campgrounds, no roads,
Right.
no
exposure.
no water sources, no visitor center. But it's really about giving people education, knowledge, and tools to make the best decisions in the situation they're in to minimize their impact. And impacts, there's a spectrum of impacts. And so really it's trying to make sure that we're always moving our behaviors and helping others move their behaviors towards making the best decision possible in any given situation. Yeah. So what I want to do now is I want to take just a few minutes to talk about each of the 7 principles and sort of the nuances that are involved with them. So number 1, plan ahead and prepare, is the foundational sort of principle. All the other principles are built on that, because if I haven't planned ahead and prepared, I can't really respect wildlife because I haven't brought my binoculars or my long camera lens, or I don't know that I've got to stay away from that snake because it could be a rattlesnake. So plan ahead and prepare is really the foundation. I didn't plan ahead and prepare as well as I might have this morning because I didn't know I was going to have a traffic backup going through Ashford because of the marathon. But I did plan ahead and prepare knowing I wanted to be here early. And so even though I had that backup, I had sort of, I had built in planning ahead and preparing so that I didn't show up late. And it's bad form when the teacher shows up late. Part of planning ahead and preparing are the 10 essentials, right? What's in your pack?
Which they went through somewhat in the video. It was kind of nice that they had a little basic first aid. And
Right. So, Michelle, when you're hiking, what's in your pack?
I have a compass, I have water, I have a knife, I have a little emergency kit,
Yeah.
and I have a spare set of clothes.
Okay, that's good. Let's see who else has something else.
Yeah,
Snacks.
right.
Yeah. Right.
Yeah.
Right.
Yeah, so,
Anything else you have in your pack?
Besides that,
Food, I forgot extra.
yeah, extra food, the extra clothing.
I have-
tent, I guess. I mean, sometimes.
I have
they-
sunscreen.
Yeah, that's right.
Right.
Yeah. Oh, true.
Right. Yeah.
My foil blanket.
Yeah. There you go.
Yeah.
There you go. Yeah. So if you look on REI's website, they've got a great little outline of the 10 essentials. And so in broad categories, it's navigation. So I'm a big fan of paper map and compass. In fact, I didn't start using a navigation app until about 2 years ago, but now I'm a big fan of both. But yeah, paper map and compass are there in the outside pocket of my pack. Sun protection, you bet. My sunscreen, my hats are along. I owe a lot of praise to my wife for ingraining that behavior in me. Insulation is our extra clothes. It may be our emergency blanket. Planning ahead and preparing tells me how much insulation I need. So I'm brought more insulation up here in May than I did today. And I'll bring more insulation up here in October than I will today. But I've got some insulation along today, just in case, because if some unpredictable, awful thing happens and I'm up here at midnight tonight, I'm going to be happy I have that insulation. I hope that doesn't happen. Illumination.
Yeah.
So my headlamp's in there. It's light. And you know what? I always admire some of these people I see on the trail that are walking along with just their water bottle and their degree of confidence in themselves. Yeah. But you know, I'm sort of built for comfort, not for speed at this stage. And so so the 10 essentials are there. My first aid kit. Again, my background is a family physician. I've probably got more stuff in my first aid kit than other folks, and that's okay. And you know what? The nice thing is, it doesn't have to get used very often. Right. There's things in my first aid kit that have been there for 20 years that I've never used, and I'm glad of it. But they're still there. Fire. Yeah. So there's a lighter. You talked about your knife. Yes, repair kit and tools. I'm not sure if I've got duct tape. I had to change my hiking poles. I wore out my hiking poles, and there was a wrap of duct tape around my hiking poles. That was my duct tape stash. But my Swiss Army knife, my favorite version of my Swiss Army knife, is in there. Yeah. Nutrition, absolutely. Absolutely. Hydration, plenty of water. If I'm into the backcountry, I like to carry water purification tablets because they're small, light, and I never want to need them. And I've used them to give to a Wonderland circuiter whose filter plugged. And I met him at Summerland, and he was just frustrated. Yeah, and I was just out day hiking that day, and he was like, "Have you got a pump?" I said, "No, but I've got some purification tablets, and take what you need." Yeah. So and then emergency shelter. So my emergency blanket is my both emergency shelter and my extra bit insulation. Plan ahead and prepare. Know the regs. Right? Because if I'm coming up here and I don't know that I need an entry permit or my volunteer badge on my shoulder because I'm volunteering that day, I'm going to be really frustrated, right? So know the regs. I'm a big fan of the webcams. I probably check the webcams, here we are. They're right there. Here we are. Yeah, there's our view. Yeah.
It's like a nice day.
Yeah, and pretty crowded in the parking lot. Yeah, but plan ahead and prepare is it's and I think the Park Service has done a great job of giving me this tool that helps me plan ahead and prepare. And I know my favorite link for weather. Again, part of planning ahead and preparing. If I'm coming with a group. So it's my wife Kathy and me and Gordon and Megan. We're going to gear our hike towards the abilities of the group, okay? And that's part of planning and preparing. I'm not going to bring Kathy and Megan and Gordon and blah, 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 blah. I'm going to keep the group small. I'm going to try and keep the group to definitely less than 12 because that's another way that we minimize impact. Yeah. Right? And so those are the things I think about. What other things do you think about when you think about planning ahead and preparing? Jennifer?
I try to always make sure I know where I'm going. I mean,
right.
And even, and I use my phone a lot now for navigation, and I'll download offline maps and even just to get to the trailhead.
Yeah.
You know, so it just, and sometimes I'll even screenshot the WTA description just so I have it.
Right, right,
Yep.
yeah. Yeah, Meadow Rover tip, share the WTA, Washington Trails
Yeah, that's a good
Association.org.
one. Right.
I share that with so many visitors from out of state and give it high remarks and high regard.
Right.
And I think it helps our visitors
Right.
plan ahead and prepare. Yeah. Any other plan ahead and prepare tips?
She covered what we usually do. A friend of mine and I hike. Definitely know the trail, know the area, familiarize yourself with the area before you head into it. Screenshot the trailhead map.
Okay.
Duration, kind of understand the duration and how much time it should take us. And then we always clock our time when we start, just so we know, are we on track or
Huh?
did we get way far off or,
Yeah, right,
you know,
right. Because if we're way off track, then we got to alter our route. We got to,
there's something went wrong there.
Yeah, we have to adjust.
And then hydration,
Yep.
number one.
all right. So, number 2 is what? Second principle?
Yeah,
Oh.
Walking camp.
Hike and camp on durable surfaces. Okay. What's a durable surface?
So it's an established trail for the most part, but especially up in the Paradise area, there's mostly asphalt.
Yeah,
So
yeah. In the front country, right?
yeah,
Right. How much snow is a durable surface?
more than 2 feet, but more like 5 feet for camping at least here.
Yeah, yeah. For camping. For hiking, generally people talk about 6 inches being a durable surface. Yeah. Jennifer, what's another durable surface?
Rocks.
Right? I'm
Yeah, if
thinking
you step
Mammoth
on-
Cave, right?
Yeah, and I was thinking too, there's sometimes that you want to step aside, or if you're, in an area
Mm-hmm.
where you are, I typically don't go off trail much, but sometimes you do for whatever reason, and try to find a spot, find a rock to stand on, or an area where there's not plants,
Yeah.
on the ground, yeah.
Yeah. Okay. Is mud a durable surface?
Yes.
Yeah,
Walk
it
through
is.
the mud, don't go around it.
It is. Right. Right. So, part of planning ahead and preparing. Back to number 1. If you're going to hike on durable surfaces and they may be muddy, you want to know about your footwear, right?
Appropriate.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Walk around the snow at Paradise, and
Yeah. Sand. As we think about places other than Mount Rainier or other than the front country of Mount Rainier, what else are durable surfaces? Sand, rock,
Yeah.
snow, and again, the Leave No Trace guidelines say 6 inches. What about vegetation?
Isn't it in the forest? Depending on the environment, that some areas with, I don't know, ones that aren't going to break. Maybe some,
Yeah.
hardy more mosses or something like that,
Yeah.
if possible.
Yeah.
I don't know if that's right, but I would think try not to break things.
Right,
Break
right.
plants and stems.
Right. Try to stay off green vegetation because it's growing, but dried grasses, those can be
Yeah.
durable surfaces. Yeah. And there's places where we get up here. Yeah. In desert areas, there's maybe you ran into some of this in Wyoming. There's quote biocrust. And biocrust is again a surface of dried, compacted earth materials, but it's not durable. It's a crust, and so it's like my pie crust. If you break through it, you're disturbing the biology of that area. So yeah, just because it's dry doesn't necessarily mean it's durable. Yeah, and again, that's planning ahead and preparing. I'm certainly no expert on desert hiking, but if I'm going to go desert hiking, I want to learn about how to hike in the desert. I'm going to go back to number 1. Yeah. So dispose of waste properly. One of the things that's in my pack is a trowel, actually, because it's pretty lightweight, along with toilet paper. And any of you know what a foo-poo bag is?
I think I was given a bag one
Is that
time.
what he had in the video? That was
Yeah.
kind of
It
like a blue
has,
bag.
Yeah.
So-
It's a funny name.
Yeah.
This is a foo-poo bag.
Oh.
And foo-poo is for fear of packing out.
Oh,
And so those
okay.
things you don't want to pack out because you don't want to look at them, they can go in here. This is an unused foo-poo bag.
Oh, you made it. So
Oh,
it's like
absolutely.
the painter's
It's a
tape
Ziploc
over it.
bag.
Yeah.
And yes, let's make foo-poo bags. All right? Come on.
With your froggy
Let's
tape.
Thank you.
make a foo-poo bag. Right. Because what goes in a foo-poo bag?
Oh.
Well, maybe not poop. I mean, I've got my trowel.
What could be the
Oh.
toilet
But
paper
I
that
might
has-
use toilet paper, right?
I also think feminine hygiene as well.
Menstrual products.
I have seen tampons
Right.
behind a tree, and it was very
Yes.
gross.
Yes.
Right.
Should
Yeah.
should here I'll grab.
Okay. Yeah. Menstrual products, sexual products, used condoms.
Sure.
Yeah. Snot rags. Yeah. Anything that you might have fear of packing out. Yeah.
Nice. Now, did you create this?
Not myself. I mean, I saw it done, and there it was.
But
But
you,
yeah.
you make that one? You
Yeah,
made
I
that
mean,
bag though.
You know.
No, I mean,
When,
that's a
when the tape's not here with me for this, it's on my workbench at home because it's doing other
So you
things.
know what we took in Wyoming?
No.
We took doggy bags because they were blue,
Oh, yeah.
and you can tie them.
You took blue
And that-
bags.
Yes,
Yeah.
we did.
Here they are.
You know, that's
Yeah.
a good idea because
Yep.
now that you said that,
Yeah.
because I have a dog and
And you
I
would have
always,
so
I
many
always have
surplus,
bags.
Right. Right.
And I always have them in there for
Right.
her, but yeah,
Right.
I have done that for,
Yeah.
like when I find trash, like yucky
Right.
stuff
Yeah.
on the
Oh,
trail
yeah.
to as a litter bag.
Right.
Yeah.
And so this
You can
is
tie 'em.
the classic
Right.
Mount Rainier blue bag.
Yeah.
Okay. If you're gonna do cross country camping, camping in the non-established campsites. Especially in the Alpine, or if you're going to be on a summit attempt, you're going to be asked to use a blue bag.
Yeah.
There are other places that public land managers also insist that people use a blue bag or something similar, and I'll show you some WAG bags too. Blocking
Yeah, I get that.
Mount Whitney.
Yeah.
If you're on the trails to Mount Whitney, you have to pack out your human waste. In many river corridors in the Southwest, you have to pack out your human waste. Now, if you're rafting, hopefully your raft outfitters or somebody has their ammo can that they've converted into a waste container, and there's a specific name for that. I can't remember. And there's all kind of other stuff. But for any Dick, Jane, or Harry who wants, they can also get
Right.
WAG bags.
Yeah, they were handing them out in Colorado.
Yeah, and these are WAG stands for waste agglutinating gel. And so
okay.
what's in a WAG bag is typically a little bit of toilet paper and a hand sanitizer. An inner liner bag. This brand has the inner liner bag merged to the outer bag.
Okay.
Inside the bag is a little bit of some waste agglutinating gel. It's about like salt, okay? But it's gel. Sorry, I spilled some on the table, but it's non-toxic, okay? And so the poop goes here, gets tied shut, it gets sealed up. And just like a disposable diaper, these can be disposed of in any kind of waste container. Yeah. And each company has a slightly different version of their model. Some of them, the bag comes separate from the inner bag, comes separate. Yeah, and let's see. All of these I think you can get online. I got some of these at REI. It wouldn't surprise me if Cabela's has their own version. This one is kind of slick because it's got hoops, so you can sort of suspend it to yourself. Yeah. Yeah.
That's like
So-
the no-touch method.
The no-touch method. Yeah.
Clean
So WAG bags are another thing to think about if you're going into the wilderness, and a way to dispose of waste properly without needing to dig a cat hole.
Yeah.
Right.
Yeah,
There's this one.
yeah,
There's a 50 bag.
yeah.
Like
So-
a diaper.
Unlike the WAG bags, the Park's blue bag does not have any kind of waste agglutinating gel.
Right.
Blue bags get dumped at various collection barrels. There's one here. There's one at Paradise by the little bathrooms in the Slate building. There's one at what, do you know where?
Well, they've taken some of those barrels away because of the hazards of removing that. We're
Yeah.
at the end of this winter season, they were trying to get people to pack their own out,
Sure.
not just dump it into that barrel, which then is a hazard
Yeah.
for our workers.
Yeah, oh, that's interesting. Yeah, and I can certainly see asking people to pack out their own WAG bags, but because this is human waste, it is not appropriate to dump in the usual waste stream.
Right.
And because it's in plastic, I don't want it in my septic system in my home, and if I lived in the city of Olympia and used the local public sewer system, they wouldn't want me. So what does the park do with these?
That was the issue. No one could answer.
Oh, I can.
Good.
I can. What they used to do is haul them to a medical waste incinerator in Tacoma, and now they haul them to Stericycle, who's a medical waste incinerator in Morton. So they get collected and they go to Morton and get incinerated there. Yeah. Yeah. But everybody poops. Yeah. So there's the sort of question about, do you dig a cat hole or do you pack it out? And I think it's one of those issues where there's a spectrum and there's different ways to do things right. There are ways to do it wrong, clearly. And the criteria for a good cat hole is 6 to 8 inches deep in biologically active soil. And if you really want to get into this, there's a whole book written now in its 4th edition called literally How to Shit in the Woods by Kathleen Mayer. And it's an interesting read, and it really goes into a lot of dealing with human waste in the wilderness. But the idea about 6 to 8 inches deep is that you're there in an area where there's some oxygen in the soil to help things decompose, where there's moisture in the soil that helps things decompose, and there's bacteria and other organisms in the soil that help facilitate the decomposition. So human waste buried in a good cat hole decomposes in about how long?
20 days.
So anyway, so yes, and again, if you're really interested, it's a short, quick, easy read, How to Shit in the Woods by Kathleen Mayer, 4th edition. Yeah, but I've become a fan of packing it in, packing it out. If I'm in nice biologically active soil, camping beyond Mirror Lake, up at Indian Henry's, really nice biologically active soil. Okay, we'll dig a cat hole here, but we'll pack out our teepee, because I'm no fan of leaving teepee. Some people do. Again, teepee, it can take a while to decompose too.
I was going to ask, do you know, is there an estimate of how long it takes for toilet paper to decompose?
Yes, and we're going to play that game next.
Okay.
So that's a very good question, and we can seg to that now, unless there's any other questions about. Okay, so yeah, so that brings up the question of what's the trash timeline?
Okay.
Okay, and so I'm going to ask you three to play the trash timeline game. And so what I've got here is I've got 10 different kinds of trash that may get found on a trail. Okay? the pistachio shells are usually not in a plastic bag, so
No.
pretend that
Yeah,
they're
yeah,
just
yeah.
laying there on the
They're
table.
the bane of my existence when I was at Battleground Lake State Park.
Yeah, okay.
One of them.
I was hiking with a friend
They
that brought
just-
pistachios and was
Yes,
tossing the
yes,
shells.
yes,
Like,
okay.
Oh,
You
And
now
that's a say
also know
something.
some of my favorite candy bars, okay? And for our fishing line, okay? So here's the game. You have 10 different trash items, and you have 10 different trash timeline cards,
Okay.
okay? And so you have to organize these.
Oh, okay.
You can line them up by which decompose first and which decompose last, or you can line them up by just matching the cards. But yep,
Okay.
so go to work.
Okay.
Ooh. Okay, so we have,
I got the.
because we could put them in order this way, then maybe.
Yeah, that might be
Sure.
easier to just-
Here's,
I have some long stuff here.
there's, oh, indefinitely.
The
Here's
the
50.
data for this is based mostly on Food and Drug Administration studies about decomposition, and they're rough estimates. There's a lot of variables depending on, again, soil, sunlight, moisture,
Yeah,
etc.
yeah.
But just in rough guidelines. So that's a tin can versus an aluminum can.
Oh, there's
Yeah.
difference between the
Yeah.
aluminum. Yeah, I would say.
Well,
I
yeah, there
was,
were beans in this one and good beer from Stoop in this one.
well, I didn't know if the metal composition makes any difference. I don't know.
Yeah.
I would think the metal, right, would take a very long time in
So
plastic.
that's indefinitely. We're going indefinitely here.
Yeah, let's just read it.
We can, yeah, we can move this stuff.
The metals and the plastic.
I mean, this is foil is
That,
metalish.
totally.
This is metalish.
But it's thin, so it's like.
Oh yeah.
So these 5 are probably long. I'm not sure about diaper because it has that absorbent pellets in it. Right? It's
Right, just like what's in our wag bag.
yeah.
I would feel-
Socks will decompose. Orange peels take a long time.
Yeah.
And so do pistachio shells.
We do. So you want to do that?
Yeah.
Or you know these well. Is that after the diaper?
Well, I know this well, I hopefully have never seen the diaper that I didn't pick up, so I didn't
Right.
know that it was lasting more than a season. But these I've seen season after season. These I've seen season after season. Because they just have that oil in it.
Right, right. Yes.
Huh.
My
Well, yeah.
dining room table gets treated with orange oil because it's a
Oh,
good preservative.
I'm gonna
Interestingly
switch
enough.
these two. That,
Okay.
Yeah, I was looking at that.
Yeah.
Yeah, first. Yeah.
but
is
this will
thicker.
rust. So because it
And
rusts.
aluminum doesn't rust.
Correct.
That's a good
Yeah, so
point.
it might be extra. But I've seen fishing line for a long time and plastic for a long time. These are so thin.
Yeah.
If
Yeah.
they get any sunlight, they'll start to break down
Okay.
a touch. Not sure which way to go on the fishing line. Monofilament versus general plastic.
Yeah,
Let's do something like that.
I think so. I think you're right. This
Oh.
one,
I feel comfortable
knows?
with this.
I think we're on track.
Yeah. Yes. Yes. Very, very good. Yeah. Yeah. I mean, it's part of this is it's surprising how long it takes some things to decompose. And you're right. Toilet paper. Our specimen is unused. It can take a year. Yeah. Socks, leather, 1 to 5 years. Orange peels, banana peels. Yep, a couple years. Pistachio, 4 years.
Oh,
Yeah.
Okay,
The,
okay.
the gum,
not bad.
the candy bar wrappers, yeah, about 5
Okay.
years. Okay. A steel can, because it's iron, it'll rust, it'll go down.
Okay.
Yeah. Aluminum breaks down slowly. Uh-huh. Yeah. Yeah. A diaper, maybe 450 years.
That is
Yeah.
crazy.
Fish line, 600 years.
Plastic.
Plastic.
That is the worst.
Some of the
Indefinitely.
plastic.
Yeah.
I'm gonna take a picture.
Yeah.
Yeah, me too.
Yeah.
Well, we weren't too bad.
No, you were great. You were great. And again, it's amazing how long it takes.
Yeah.
Yeah.
I'll have to ask you to send those photos.
That's good.
Definitely.
Okay, so bonus question.
Ah.
I'm in the woods. I've just had to poop. or whatever. But anyway,
Right.
I've got some toilet paper I'm needing to leave behind, and I'm kind of shy about just leaving toilet paper. So I'm going to put my toilet paper under a rock. What happens? Does it still break down in a year?
Probably not, because now you're giving it a covering to expose, it's not being exposed to the elements that will
Right.
break it down.
Right.
That's my thought.
And so,
Unless you're in moist soil.
yeah. So what have I done?
You've,
How much longer is it going to take it?
well, I don't know, maybe this one.
Yeah.
Yeah. It can take up to 3 years.
Uh-huh.
And I've disrupted the sort of biome that's under my rock too. All the
Sure.
little organisms and things that are crawling around under there. Now they have to deal with toilet paper.
So just leave it exposed.
Well,
Don't even
bury
bury
it in a cat hole.
Cat
Bury it in a
hole.
cat hole. Or, ta-da! You have a foo-poo bag for that.
Yeah.
Yay! Yay. Second bonus question.
Okay.
Okay. Trash collection studies. Researchers over a period of 5 years did 1,500 plus trash collection studies in more than 80 countries around the world, looking at what's in trash that people litter and discard, and particularly thinking about when we look at plastic, how much of that is plastic, and how much of that plastic can we tie to a brand. So what's the number one branded plastic waste in
Dasani. Water.
That would be interesting.
and who makes Dasani?
Yeah,
Oh,
maybe it's like
Coke.
Coca-Cola.
Yeah. So it's these guys.
Yeah.
The number one selling beverage brand is also the number one plastic litter in the world. So, okay, so that's our trash timeline game. Good job, everybody.
How about glass?
Glass can take 1,000 years to break down. Yeah,
But you can
Glass.
sterilize it.
glass
Oh, and this is-
goes a long, long, long time.
We don't even recycle in the hospital anymore because there's nobody there. It's not, it's not
Yeah, they're not doing it.
financially.
Because of money.
And then they sit out in barges. That was very educational
Yeah.
and mind-blowing at the same time.
Yes. So again, in my pack, there is my especially when I'm meadow roving. There's my latex gloves, nitrile gloves, and my garbage bag, so I can wage war against toilet paper
Nice.
blossoms. It's just my thing, and it's amazing how cultural it is too. My wife and I went to the Dolomites last fall, and it's like we just leave our toilet paper along the trail here, and it was
That was Wyoming.
yeah.
Yeah.
Yeah. So anyway, so let's work on that.
Yeah.
Let's work on
Guess I
that.
shouldn't have said that.
Leave what you find, right? What does that mean?
Yeah, so don't disrupt the outdoors. Make sure it's pristine as much as possible for others to enjoy the same thing you just saw.
Yeah. What's one of the sort of subtle ways that things aren't being left the way they're found? There's something that gets built along trails.
Rock herons
By
are
visitors.
piling
Oh.
or
Yeah.
and stacking rocks.
Herons.
Yeah.
Yes.
It doesn't look natural at all to me.
Yeah.
People start leaving like little elves.
Yeah.
When I hike along trails now, they bring Legos
Yes.
and
Yes.
do all this stuff that really contaminates my idea of what
Yes.
I want to see on the trail.
Yeah.
Or painted rocks.
Painted rocks.
Mhm.
That's very common.
Yes. Yeah.
Why? Who started that?
I don't know. Yeah, I don't know. Yeah, but again, it's in some ways it's not leaving what you find. You know, there's the old take only pictures, leave only footprints idea, and it depends. I think here at the park, it may not be as big a thing about somebody picking up a stick for a walking stick and walking along, but maybe it is. I also trail rove at the Billy Frank Jr. Nisqually National Wildlife Refuge.
Yeah.
Nice.
And things are different there because it's an intensively managed area for wildlife. There is no foraging. There is no collecting of berries. There aren't collecting leaves. They tend to ask people to be very strict about that. I think here, there's certainly, we're not picking wildflowers, and we're not building rock cairns, but I've never been reluctant to eat a handful of huckleberries. Yeah, I won't forage for spruce tips. I like spruce tips as a seasoning. The June, July, the little growing, and so pick a few spruce tips for a seasoning. But I won't forage in the national park for those because this is a national park. I will at Mount St. Helens because that's Forest Service and that's okay. It's quote multi-use.
The blue spruce?
Just
Spruce.
spruce.
Interesting.
I'm not that good a tree person. Yeah, and so know the regs in the area. There are areas here at the park where there are Native American artifacts, and I think there's a very high degree of protection. And I know as meadow rovers, we're asked if we come across artifacts, whether it be just an arrowhead we find or something of that nature, that we leave them in place, that we identify it, that we notify our supervisors about that. But yeah, yes. So that's part of the message. Leave what you find, including don't build rock cairns. Yeah. Here in the park, campfire impacts aren't much of a thing. I don't know. Is there anywhere in the back country?
Not in the back country.
You can build right.
On off.
Yeah, my experience in the Northwest is that most places that are above 2,500 feet, Forest Service lands and all, they ask you not to build wildfires. Campfires are permitted in campgrounds, in established camp rings. So that's one way we minimize campfire impacts, is we use the campfire rings where they're established. And what don't we burn in our campfire ring?
Plastics.
Coke products.
Yeah, we don't burn our trash. Yeah, because it doesn't burn effectively. Yeah. Okay. Respect wildlife, right? Does everybody know the rule of thumb?
Yes, I learned
Really?
that.
Will you teach us the rule of thumb? Here's a bear.
So if your thumb does not cover the wildlife, you're too close.
Right.
Like that.
Correct.
Right.
At
So
arm's
you.
length, right.
So everybody needs to
We'll tell
practice
that
the
to
rule of thumb with their animal there. So you extend your arm and your thumb should
Yeah.
cover the animal,
No,
and
you gotta
that's
back up.
when you're close enough. Right. Right. Right.
Far from
That's
a
an easy
tiny
one.
little mountain lion.
Yes. Yes. And again, number one, plan ahead and prepare. There are other guidelines. So in Yellowstone, the guideline is 25 yards from any large animal, 100 yards from a bear or a wolf. I think cougar encounters are rare enough where that doesn't fall within your guidelines, but I would also think 100 yards from a cougar.
Run ahead.
Yeah.
So
Yeah.
you'll
And-
never see 'em.
And again, my favorite tool for respecting wildlife is the tool I left at home this morning, my binoculars.
Oh.
Yeah, but binoculars or a long camera lens are again an important part of respecting wildlife. What animal in the park causes the most injuries to visitors?
Well, little bites and nibbles, I think, are sometimes the squirrels and chipmunks.
Exactly.
That's why they feed them.
Exactly.
Yeah.
Right. And they feed them. So what do we call it when animals get adapted to humans?
Conditioned.
Conditioned,
Or socialized, I don't know.
socialized, habituated.
Yeah.
Yeah. Is habituation bad?
Is it bad?
Yeah. Always?
Pretty much.
Yeah.
Yeah. I mean, there's that saying, a fed bear is a dead bear.
Right.
I mean, there's so limited times that wildlife will unlearn a behavior
Yeah.
of habituation.
Yes.
Probably never
Yeah.
in its best interest.
Yeah. Yeah. There's a couple examples. Habituation may not always be bad. At Billy Frank Jr. Nisqually, there's some trails, and you may see wildlife fairly close on a dike trail, and they know that you're not a threat, and they're not going to move, and because they've got some nice seed here that they're interested in gobbling up. And that kind of a habituation is somewhat advantageous for them.
Is that natural? Like you said, seed, but that's like because there's
Grass
a
seed.
natural,
Yeah,
natural source.
they're natural food source.
feeding
Yeah.
ground and
They're
you're not
natural
a
food
threat.
source. Yeah, yeah.
You're used to guys walking by and
yeah.
looking at them and not
Yeah.
hurting them.
Right.
Yeah.
Deer browsing on the slopes
Right.
at Paradise, and you can slowly approach and try not to disturb their behavior. And it's interesting how much they find that you're not a
They
threat.
don't care about you.
Right.
Right.
So they've habituated. But the habituation that's bad is the habituation of the ground squirrels especially, or the fed bears and dead bear. It's the habituation where we become associated with food.
Right.
Yeah. A recent example, this was from the news earlier this year. Yep. Rare white grizzly.
Oh.
Finish reading for me, Michelle?
Stuck on the. You want me to put my glasses
Just the head.
on?
I'll
Oh.
read it.
I
Yeah.
read it. There's
Rare white grizzly.
Dies after being struck on Canadian highway.
Yep. Yeah. So this grizzly mom was a white grizzly.
also the cubs.
And
The
also
cubs
the
were
cubs.
struck and killed in a separate accident.
Yes, the cubs were struck on a rail line because they used this rail line because they could pick up waste and food and grain on the rail line, and the cubs were struck, and the mom wanders onto the road, and she's struck. Yeah.
In the Yoho National Park.
Yes. Yes.
That's too bad.
So yeah, you can have those if you want.
No, I'll just take a picture. Thank you.
Yeah.
This is
But habituation, has negative repercussions for wildlife. Even throwing our waste apple core out the window of the car as we're driving through the countryside brings animals to the roadside for that kind of trash and results in roadkill. Yeah. So habituating wildlife to humans with food is a bad thing, and it's not part of respecting wildlife. Yeah. Yes. Number 7, be kind to other visitors. How are we doing time-wise? Okay, we'll keep moving on. Be kind to other visitors, right? Share the trail, make everybody feel welcome. Like they said on the video, a smile goes a long way. Yeah. Yes. All right. So, if we can, I want to talk now, I'll show a couple of videos about how to communicate these 7 principles of leave no trace effectively. Yeah.
Many impacts to our parks and protected areas occur because people are unaware, uninformed, or misinformed about the connection between their actions and these impacts. This is why effective education programs designed to teach people how to enjoy the outdoors responsibly are needed. By effectively communicating leave no trace skills and ethics to outdoor enthusiasts, we can empower people who spend time outdoors to do their part and take care of our shared lands. As a society, we are not as connected to the natural world as we once were. This has resulted in less awareness of how the natural world works. To empower people to make good decisions about enjoying the outdoors responsibly, 2 things need to occur. First, people need to have a basic understanding of ecosystems and processes taking place in the outdoors. Second, They need to have an understanding of the consequences of their actions on these ecosystems and processes. For example, if people don't know the snow in the mountains melts and becomes our drinking water, then they may not understand how dog waste in that snow can contaminate our drinking water. We want people to know the why behind Leave No Trace recommendations. Research shows that when people understand why a Leave No Trace technique is recommended, they're more likely to put it into action. Knowing the why helps people realize that their actions do have an ecological effect, and that these impacts are individual but cumulative over time. This knowledge will foster more aware, concerned, and careful outdoor enthusiasts who can make Leave No Trace decisions even when they may not be sure of the best way to minimize their impact. When providing people with this type of information, there are a few other key points to keep in mind in order to have effective interactions. Some goals to keep in mind: awaken your audience's interest. Engage them in an interesting or meaningful conversation about the area they're in, particular wildlife, plant species, etc. Gain their trust. Establish your credibility. Maybe you're a master educator or a trainer, a volunteer in the area, or maybe you've just been spending time here for years. Get your points across by saying more with less, and develop self-confidence in your conversations. There are a few key factors to any interaction. Firstly, your approach, and secondly, your attitude. Your approach can have a significant impact on the effectiveness of the interaction. For your approach, establish rapport to open the door. By relating to the people we're talking to, we can better engage them in conversation. Break the ice. Ask about their day, where they're from, if they've been here before. Discover their interests. What drew them to this place? Ask about their visit, where they're headed, if they've seen wildlife, etc. Try to get a sense of where they're coming from, figuratively and literally. Understanding someone's motivations for spending time outside can help you form your approach. And remember to smile and be friendly. Your attitude will also set the tone for the interaction. Try putting yourself in their shoes. This may be their first outing or the only time they have to get out. People are usually excited to be away from it all and don't want to hear about rules or regulations. Their encounter with you will likely have an effect on their overall experience. This doesn't mean every interaction needs to be cheery and easygoing. Use your judgment. There's a time for a serious demeanor. Maybe if there's dangerous wildlife, fire, or other unsafe actions. Your interaction will affect their enjoyment, knowledge, and impact or lack of it. Use a positive means to communicate your message. This will be the most effective. Remember, most impacts to our parks and protected areas occur because people are simply unaware, uninformed, or misinformed of the consequences of their actions and the impacts that can result. By effectively communicating with people in the outdoors, we can reduce impacts, put Leave No Trace into action, and improve the health and sustainability of our shared outdoor spaces.
Yeah, so I want to emphasize the message there that most impacts that we want to help people avoid will really be occurring because people are uninformed or misinformed or just unaware of what's going on. Occasionally there's carelessness. I've dropped litter, I know, carelessly. But it's really when we can share our knowledge and our understanding and help people understand the impacts of their individual actions, most people want to minimize those impacts in our shared public spaces. Yeah. And so this is a non-confrontational approach that tries to use the authority of nature, the quote authority of the resource, to help people understand their impacts. And so, what's authority? You're the one with the badge on today. What's authority?
Well, that's a tough one. I would say someone that I want to say has a little more power, perhaps,
Right.
than
Yeah.
than others. Oh,
Yeah. Yeah. The power to influence or command thought or opinion or behavior is authority, according to Webster, right? Right? And you have the authority of an agency behind you. You are, so you have the authority of the agency, and you can use that, and you can say, if X, then, I have to write you a ticket or whatever. That kind of authority of an agency tends to make people look over their shoulder. Am I going to do this because there's a ranger around? But nature and wildlife has its own authority, has its own rules, and it operates in its own certain ways, right? It's got its own laws. I always like to talk about the law of gravity, right? So if I walk too close to the edge of a cornice, the law of gravity and the physical laws of friction are going to take over. And if I do something stupid, then nature has its own, its own authority, and it's going to teach me a lesson. There's thermodynamics. If I overdress on a hot day, or if I underdress on a cold day, nature's going to teach me a lesson. And then there's the nature has its own biology. So things, whether they're plants or animals, will seek out food and water and shelter, and all have a desire for reproduction. And so we can use those natural processes and share that education about, this is why we don't pick wildflowers, is because there's such a short season here. There's so few pollinators around. There's so few flowers around. We need to just let these natural processes happen. And when we violate those natural laws, there's consequences. And so in shared public lands, there are many, many places where we have agreed, like our national parks, like the Goat Rocks Wilderness area, that we will let nature assert its own authority. Yeah. So here's one of my favorite videos about the authority of the agency versus the authority of the resource. All right, and we should all think about our favorite ranger as we watch this. So here we go. So first is an example of the authority of the agency. Whoops, sorry. What's with my volume here? Oh, there it is. Turn some volume on. We'll back up to the beginning. Here we go.
Excuse me.
Oh, hello.
Hi, yeah, you can't have your dogs here.
They're being good and fine.
Yeah, I understand that, but there's a regulation here. Dogs aren't allowed. There was a sign when you walked in. So dogs aren't allowed on the trail.
It's really not a big deal. It's fine. Do it all the time.
Yeah, I understand, but I have to enforce the rules for everyone, and I'm gonna have to ask you to leave. I'll just give you a warning this time, but if I see you again, I will have to give you a ticket.
Ticket's not cool. I can't afford a ticket.
Yeah,
Whatever.
I'm sorry.
Whatever.
Like I said, dogs aren't allowed here.
Right?
Hi, how's it going
Here we
today?
Good. It's going really well.
Is this your first time coming out to this trail?
Yeah, actually, I just moved here, and this is our first time checking out the area. It's
Wow.
beautiful.
Have you been able to see any wildlife while you've been out?
I haven't, but
Really appreciate you doing your part to help protect them. They're a very special animal, and it helps keep this place wonderful for them to live in and for us to keep enjoying. So thank you for doing your part.
of course. Okay, thank you.
Thank you.
I wish every interaction I had could go that well.
Yeah.
Yes.
Wow.
Yes. Yeah. I mean,
receptive.
Well,
yes.
thanks. If you put it that way,
Yeah.
it's okay.
Yes. She was using her body posture. She so she was shoulder to shoulder. She wasn't confrontational. She wasn't using those words like "you shouldn't,"
Right.
"you didn't."
Right.
Yeah. She was talking about how it's about the resource. It's about the sheep. Yeah. So here's a little more of a video, not quite as entertaining, but contains the kernel and the nut of how the authority of the resource technique can be applied and works.
Hi, I'm Danielle.
And I'm Aaron. We're from the Leave No Trace Center for Outdoor Ethics. Today we'll be talking about the authority of the resource technique, which is a great educational tool for dealing with those less than leave no trace moments. We'll also be covering a few of our best practices for effective communication.
This technique is great for rangers, volunteers, and everyday citizens who wish to educate other people about Leave No Trace in a positive way that's actually going to make a difference.
Authority is defined as the power to influence or command thought, opinion, or behavior. Nature, or the resource, has its own authority to influence our behavior. Because of this, people are actually more likely to enjoy the outdoors responsibly when they understand how their actions impact the natural world.
There are 3 main steps involved in effectively using the authority of the resource technique. Before beginning, it's helpful to establish rapport to open the door. Ask the other person how they're doing, what their day is like, where they're from, if they've been to the area before. This all helps establish a friendly conversation. Step 1. Give an objective statement. This can be tricky, but practice makes perfect. We want to avoid placing any blame on the other person, and we want to avoid using any value-laden terms like don't or should or didn't you know. For example, you might say, I've noticed some people hiking off trail, or I've noticed a lot of erosion in this area. Making this objective statement keeps the conversation non-confrontational.
Step 2. Explain the implications or the consequences of the action. This is what we like to call the why. This explanation should focus on the resource, like trees, water, wildlife, flowers, etc., and how the observed action impacts those natural resources. For example, you might say something like, there are many endangered plants in this area that are easily trampled by people hiking off trail. Because there are so many people visiting this area, many of these plants and flowers could be easily lost forever if everyone hiked off trail. Remember, the consequences here should focus on the impact to the natural world, and not necessarily because it's against the regulations. This helps people understand how their actions impact the natural world.
Step 3. Tell them what can be done to improve the situation. No one likes to receive criticism, however well-intended, without solutions or opportunities for improvement. For example, I'd feel a lot better if everyone stayed on the trails to help protect this sensitive vegetation and to help prevent erosion.
These educational conversations are the most effective at inspiring long-term behavior change, but they can be challenging at times. A few of these effective communication tips will help bolster your authority of the resource technique.
Come from a place of compassion and treat them as an individual. It's important that we don't make this one person out to be everyone we've seen doing dishes in a river or littering on the trail. It's important that we come into each situation as a new opportunity for education.
Orient your body to be shoulder to shoulder rather than face to face. This helps create a friendlier atmosphere and can reduce possible tension in the conversation. Remember, you're both in this together instead of you versus them.
Take parents or trip leaders aside to have a conversation if possible. No one likes to be told that they're doing something wrong in front of their kids or participants.
Take a minute to collect your thoughts before you approach the person. Plan out the steps of your conversation, especially the why. If you're with a group, brainstorm with them what you might say.
The Leave No Trace movement can be strengthened when all outdoor enthusiasts understand how to minimize their impacts. Although sometimes challenging, the authority of the resource technique is a proven framework for having meaningful conversations that truly make a difference to our shared lands.
Yeah. So yeah, that's kind of the nut of the authority of the resource technique. I was looking for a particular article, the original article that was published by a guy named Manning, because it's a very interesting read. But I can't lay my hands on it today. But the Leave No Trace organization does have a lot of other resources for gaining more education if you're particularly interested in a particular aspect. Again, the important aspects of the technique of communicating, it's non-blaming, it's using objective statements, it's talking about the resource, it's describing the behavior. I see a lot of people hiking with their dogs in here. it's talking about the norms. Our custom here is that we don't pick the wildflowers. Most people who visit here don't pick the wildflowers. Most people that are hiking here are staying on the trails because, it becomes incumbent on us to be role models. So when we hike, we should walk through the mud and stay on the trails, right? And we should dispose of our waste properly. Another key point for us as meadow rovers or interpretive rangers is that issue with interacting with parents or group leaders and not the child or the individual in the group, to sort of educate. And it's a real challenge. It can be difficult. And so I like their advice to take a minute, think about what you want to say, get your thoughts organized in your head. Yeah. And then lastly, if there is some impact that you're talking about, you want to, if possible, remove that. So if there's litter on the trail, you want to pick up the litter and get it out of there. Yeah. So that pretty well wraps up what I wanted to share today. I'm really happy to answer any questions at this point if you have questions, and then I want to take just another minute to talk about the Leave No Trace organization.
Okay.
Yeah, questions?
I guess my question would be, because I see two behaviors when I'm out hiking, and I wonder about the approach, right, and the authority of the resource. So one is off trail. I mean, it's just so rampant, especially after the Meadow Rovers are done. I'm up there for night skies, and it's just, they're all over the place. And it's so hard to even come close to enjoying my time as either an interpretive ranger or if I'm on a rove, without saying, oh my gosh, this is the 100th person, that I could see. So that's a struggle. And the authority of the resource doesn't seem to help because there's so many that it would take forever, right? So it's like, oh, you pick one and then they're seeing somebody else and I didn't talk to them as well, that kind of thing. Yeah. But the other is the flowers. And I wonder how impactful that is to say, this is a short growing season, the pollinators are only out a few, weeks at the most, there's mismatches, and if they don't pollinate, they could be lost forever. And I don't know if you've had experience with either of those, I'm sure on the first, but on the second, is the authority of the resource enough for people to change their behavior about picking flowers? So there's two questions, obviously.
I think it's our best tool.
Yeah.
I don't think there's anything that guarantees 100%. I think shaming doesn't work.
Yeah.
So, and again, we're trying to minimize impact, not eliminate, and I don't think we'll ever get to be 100%. And that kind of segs to that other issue of, it's what we do in search and rescue too. First, we make sure that the rescuers are safe. And so if you're burned out by seeing the 100th person who's hiking off trail in the front country, then maybe you've done your work for the day, and none of us get to wear a Batman cape or a Superman cape.
Yeah.
We all have our limits, and so we use our best tools, and
Yeah, I appreciate that.
So I don't have an ideal answer, but it's a struggle.
Okay.
Yeah. Talk to Kevin about letting the Meadow Rovers extend their hours, because I think some of us have some enthusiasm for that. But anyway, that's an ongoing issue.
Oh,
yeah.
Sure.
Yeah. So again, the Leave No Trace organization, lnt.org. And they have lots of videos and skills. There's some Leave No Trace 101 Basics course that you can do online. Through our link to the federal agency, there is a 3-hour video course called Effective Communication that really goes into detail. And if you contact, can we use you as a link for information about how to get to the 3-hour Effective Communication course, and I'll work with you on getting that?
Sure, yeah. If you could
Yeah.
send that to me.
Yeah.
I was thinking too, I would like to put some of these links and images in the newsletter as well, and hopefully that'll
Yeah.
get more
Yeah.
word out.
Yeah. The Leave No Trace offers classes. I was remembering here, I didn't really establish my authority, except that I'm an enthusiast, but during the off season this past winter, I took the Leave No One Level 1 instructor course, which was a 20-hour course on how to teach Leave No Trace. And they offer an even higher level. It's typically like a 5-day course called their Level 2 course. And so Leave No Trace offers all kinds of trainings online and courses in person. I attended one of their classes that they call a Spotlight event down in Portland in May, and took some training courses. And there's talk, although again getting staff hired up for this season was a challenge, it's certainly there's interest in perhaps getting some Leave No Trace trainings run here in future years. So that's interesting. The Leave No Trace does a lot of swag. They have all kinds of these little cards. I mean, everything from, front country to kids to back country to horse stock to fishing to photography to
There's the
birding.
horse sweater you were talking about.
Yeah.
So what have you found works best on these two situations that he brought up? Just really befriend the group. I mean, you
Yeah.
can tell
So
them
so
the
you're
facts.
so you've got 2 kids with you that have been picking flowers, right? And you're hiking and I'm the Meadow Rover. Hi, I'm Steve. I'm one of the Meadow Rovers here today. How you doing?
Good.
Where are you visiting
Great.
from?
Visiting from Oregon. My kids just love this.
Isn't it beautiful?
Yes, they're just
Yeah.
having a great time.
I know.
today.
What do you think they
They're
like
rambunctious
most?
kids they are,
Yeah.
and they're just so happy. The 2 girls now have
Yeah.
the pretty flowers in their hair. They
Uh-huh.
love it.
It does look really pretty, doesn't it?
Yes, it does.
Yeah. Unfortunately, I see people picking flowers sometimes, and it's something we really discourage here. Yeah. There's a reason why.
Oh, why is that?
Wow, there's plenty.
There are plenty. Yeah. And we want to keep it that way for everybody. This is our shared public space. We all own this land, and the season up here, these flowers were under snow in June.
Really?
And they are just now coming out. And you know what? By mid-September, they're going to be brown and withered. And so they've got such a short growing season. Yeah.
Wow.
And you know what else? You've seen those little yellow flies that look like bees? They're not a bee. They're a hoverfly. They're our most important pollinator. And so the plants and the insects, the pollinators. Seen any hummingbirds up here today?
No.
You can.
Yeah,
You can,
I
because
hope so.
these wildflowers draw hummingbirds.
Wow.
Yeah. And
Girls give the flowers back.
well, yeah.
Yeah. Or
Thanks,
maybe
thanks, I
next time.
appreciate that.
Next time. Yeah, it's all about just really just embracing the person and the education.
Uh-huh. Yes.
And
And
you found that they'll listen, and then they'll next time
Exactly. I was
potentially.
gonna say, I feel like sometimes someone might not be, convinced right then, but you've
Next
made that.
time.
It's still they
A
have that
seed.
interaction.
planted that
And
kernel.
then next time, and then when they see a flower, it's like, well, remember we talked to that person, and they, like maybe we
Right.
shouldn't, or hopefully,
Right. Okay.
Yeah.
I felt that
Nice.
way when I taught middle school. Well, I
Yeah.
hope they get it eventually.
Yeah. Yes. And I remember the supervisor at Sunrise from a few years ago, Reese, had a bunch of flowers, and somebody had left them on the trail actually.
Yeah.
But he made sure to toss them off so they
Sure.
didn't get seen. Right?
Sure.
So
Yeah,
they're
I was
not an
wondering about
example.
that. Because
Yeah.
I've seen that.
Yeah. Yeah, the other day, one of those benches on the way to Myrtle Falls, and there was just a tiny little cluster of wildflowers, like 3 or 4 wildflowers at somebody. But I even though I wasn't roving that day, I made myself pick them up and toss them away, because
You
it's
don't want
the,
other
you don't
people
want
to
the
think
example.
that this
Yeah.
isn't a habit.
Yeah.
Oh, I have a little memorial from my
Yeah. Right.
I feel it's the same
Right.
with stacking rocks. You know, some places have rock cairns for trail, showing the trail,
Sure.
Yeah.
but if it's not
Sure.
official, to
Um,
scatter those rocks back to where.
If you're really interested, Leave No Trace has a position paper on lots of different things, including one on cairns.
Okay.
And they point out that cairns are supposed to be constructed by trail crews as
okay.
important trail markers. And there's a science to building a cairn because it needs to shed snow and water so it stays and is permanent. And so that the freezing, in the winter cycles doesn't cause it to be just rubble. So cairns are built a certain way and are there as an important landmark. And constructing cairns willy-nilly compromises the value of the ones that are there for the trail.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Yeah, I can see that.
Yeah.
Wow.
Yeah. So anyway, yeah. So yeah, I would encourage you to visit the Leave No Trace website
Yeah.
and poke around and see other
Yeah.
things you might be interested in.
Effective communication through education.
Yeah. Yes. Thank you for letting me
Well, thank
Thank
you.
share this with
Yeah,
you
thank
today.
Very
It was,
good.
it was a lot of
I
fun.
like that
Thanks.
was great. I like the interactive activities. And, yeah.
Yeah.
Yeah. Yes, there's more games we can play,
And-
but the trash timeline is my
Yeah.
favorite so far.
Yeah, and
Yeah.
showing the bags, because I haven't looked into that lately, so I didn't know some
Yeah.
of those that, are available to buy now. So
Yeah.
it's
Yeah.
showing my
Mm-hmm.
lack of being prepared, perhaps.
So here somewhere
Yeah.
is a trash can for human waste that I am not aware of,
Uh,
or there were.
Over the winter, there was some.
Okay.
up
Shall we
at
go find out?
Paradise.
Okay.
I'm not sure who.
you want to come on? Let's go find.